these types of thrillers live or die on the performance of the kind of Glenn Close character, right? The harbinger of the insanity, so to speak. And the woman in this short really knocks it out of the park. She hits all of those marks that you want to see from this type of villainous antagonist. Um, the normalcy of the second half, right? The domesticity that she's trying to manufacture is even more disturbing than some of the physical altercations that happen earlier on. So this is a piece that really knows how to play with you in interesting ways and it's quite entertaining and unsettling.
Certain things that really stood out to me in this piece, the sound design on her killing the girlfriend, terrifying to hear, and then just the fact that we are seeing visually him listening to it. And then the cruelty of her forcing him to cuddle with her as if all this craziness hasn't just occurred. Now, when I left this piece, it left me to think, why did you not tell the person with the package that my crazy ex is here, call the cops, something? But then maybe at this point, he has accepted his fate, or maybe he fears that there will be repercussions for trying to save himself. You know, he is still coming off of the trauma of someone dying as a result of him trying to get them out, and him hearing it. Um, Realizing that the safest way is to appease her. And, you know, this is just definitely a man that is petrified and going out of his way to pretend like he's not. And it makes you wonder how long in this relationship has he been petrified? Was he always aware that she had this darkness within her? And I feel like possibly, which is why they allude to how everyone's like, are you still with her? Why are you still with her? Because everyone can see this darkness. But I think he also feels like, I'm the only one that can tame this darkness, so I have to deal with it. Very interesting.
Was quite well acted. I really enjoyed the opening with the sort of viral video style opening. It's very similar to content that you see all the time, and I thought there was an interesting sort of exploration of the idea of who those people were that you saw randomly on the street screaming, what their dynamic was behind closed doors. And I thought the piece did a really great job of sort of navigating the emotional and sort of psychological dynamic between the two leads. And I thought they both had a really great sense of chemistry, both when they were reflecting a lot of toxic energy, and also when they were reflecting a level of affection and love that sort of underlie the dynamic that has been maintained for a long period of time. So I thought there was a lot of interesting ideas about sort of how that dark interplay between the both of them sort of contributed to why their bond was staying consistent despite what was going on. So I thought there was an interesting sort of thematic idea, especially given the ending that backed up that interpretation. So I thought it was an interesting and a thoughtful piece.
I think it's interesting how, for once, one of these types of movies does not really have a happy ending. I'm sure there are some out there, but I liked how this one didn't because I just felt like that. I don't want to say it felt a little bit more realistic, but it kind of did. You know, she's obviously crazy and she's torturing him and his new girlfriend and whatnot, yet there is truly nothing he can do about it, and it's really unfortunate. That sense of helplessness comes across really well with the cinematography, and I think the mood lighting of how dark and kind of gray it is, kind of as a way to, I feel like, symbolize the gray outlook of what's about to happen to him. So I thought that was interesting and kind of like represents a reminder that there are people out there who, you know, might think they have more of a say in your life than they do. And there really are people and there really are stories out there exactly like this one. And I think it was very interesting to see because it was heartbreaking. It was very, very heartbreaking. And I think the actors did a very good job. The main lead, he's able to show distress in the best way possible. And the murderous ex girlfriend, she does crazy very well. And I think they had very good chemistry.
Sitting down and mulling it over, as I slowly started to realize, um, I feel like this film is very much symbolic of just how dangerous abusive relationships can be. In the film, obviously, it's elevated to the 10th degree. Dial it back, I feel are very symbolic of a lot of the tactics an abusive partner will use to keep someone in an abusive relationship. The really tragic and sad truth about a lot of abusive relationships is they have such a hold on the victim that there are so many times where realistically the person could have asked for help, the person could have reached out, the person could have done so many things, but they're so locked in by this abuser that they don't see that escape anymore. And that's very tragic.
Really great idea. I love the setup where somebody's videoing it on their phone. She loses her crap in the beginning during the breakup. And then I like, you know, the fact that we're kind of in it with them when this is happening, when she comes into his house and she's torturing him as far as knowing, you know, the girl's in the other room and he doesn't know what to do. I really think the performances really were great. So the main actress really towed that fine line really well of like kind of psycho, but not at the same time. And then, of course, the performance of the guy. I loved a lot of the close-ups you did on him, and his subtle facial expressions and reactions were very genuine, I think, and it was believable.